In this Diablo 2 Resurrected Sorceress build, we're going to be taking a look at the Frozen Orb Sorceress. This is an End Game Sorceress build that can get you through Nightmare and even Hell difficulties in Diablo 2 Resurrected. If you're looking for an End Game Sorceress build, then this guide is for you. The Frozen Orb Sorceress uses the Frozen Orb Spell to deal with both individual targets and groups of enemies. You'll be using the Chain Lightning spell to deal with cold immune enemies. While playing this Sorceress build, you'll conjure massive torrents of ice that deal damage in a large AoE. This Sorceress build is intended to be used for Nightmare and Hell difficulties starting around level 40. You can start the game with this build, but I personally recommend you use our Fire Sorceress beginner build instead, and then respec into this one. If you're already playing and want to respec into this build though, the easiest way to do it is by claiming the Den of Evil reward from Akara at the Rogue encampment. You'll get 3 respecs, 1 for each difficulty, and you'll need to be on the same difficulty to reclaim them. Like most builds in Diablo 2 Resurrected, our stat distribution will focus on assigning enough points into strength to meet equipment requirements and then assigning everything else into vitality to gain as much life as possible. Having a Hellfire Torch and an Annihilus will greatly reduce your stat investment into strength. These unique charms provide plus 10 to 20 to all attributes and plus 10 to 20 to all elemental resistances. Having both in your inventory will save you between 20 to 40 stat points that you can spend into vitality, greatly increasing your health pool. The additional passive resistances will also allow you to depend less on plus all resistance equipment, opening up more options. If you don't have a Hellfire Torch or an Annihilus yet, I strongly recommend that you get them as soon as you can. Perfect rolled ones are very expensive, but you can get bad rolled ones for affordable prices. Make sure you get a low roll when you're starting off and then upgrade it when you have enough money. The Frozen Orb Sorceress focuses on the Cold tree, but you'll also be spending many points into the Lightning tree to be able to deal with cold immune enemies. You'll use the following skills when playing this Diablo 2 Resurrected Sorceress build. Frozen Orb. This spell creates a floating orb that fires ice bolts in all directions while moving forward. Enemies can get hit by multiple ice bolts from the same Frozen Orb, making it great for both individual targets and groups of enemies. It's important to note that the damage displayed on the spell corresponds to each ice bolt, which can be misleading when you compare it to other spells, and Frozen Orb has a 1-second cooldown between casts, so make sure to correctly aim each to maximize efficiency. Cold Mastery. This skill greatly reduces enemies' cold resistance, greatly increasing the damage of your Frozen Orb. Resistances can't drop below minus 100%, so there's a cap to how much you can increase your damage with Cold Mastery. For this reason, I only recommend that you assign 15 points, as you'll be getting a lot of plus skills from your equipment, at which point you'll max out efficiency. It's also important to mention that Cold Mastery won't affect cold immune enemies. Warmth. This skill passively increases your mana regeneration, which is great for any sorceress build. Assigning only 1 point here is enough, as you'll be boosting it with your equipment as well, and you'll need to spend skill points in other places. Chain Lightning. Since Frozen Orb will deal 0 damage to immune enemies, you'll need an alternative to get rid of them. Chain Lightning creates a bolt of lightnings that arc through enemies that are close to each other, allowing you to deal with all immune enemies at the same time. The damage fluctuates a lot, so you might need to use the spell many times if you get unlucky with the damage rolls. Lightning Mastery. This skill passively increases your lightning damage, and it's the best way to increase the effectiveness of Chain Lightning. You'll be spending a ton of points here to increase the damage, so don't be shy. Static Field. This skill reduces the current health of all enemies around you by 25%, ignoring all types of resistances. Since it takes into account enemies' current health, you can cast it repeated times to drop enemies' health to a very low percentage very fast. This is especially useful against bosses and cold immune enemies. It's important to note that it can't take monsters' health below 33% during Nightmare difficulty and 50% during Hell difficulty, but even taking half of a health bar from a boss with only a couple of casts is very strong, and a must-have for all sorceresses. Since this guide is starting at level 40, you'll want to first focus on your Frozen Orb, Ice Bolt, and Cold Mastery, and then work towards Chain Lightning to deal with immunes. You should have around 43 skill points at level 40, 39 from levels, and 4 from quests. You should have your skills placed in the following manner. At level 90, you should have 101 skill points to distribute, 89 from levels, and 12 from quests, and they should look like this. When it comes to equipment, you'll first want to get as much plus skills as possible, as it's the best way to increase your damage. You'll also want to search for faster cast rate and max out resistances. Once all that is covered, you might want to look into Magic Find gear to increase your loot quality. When you're starting off, you'll obviously have less gear, so here are some cheap rune words and unique items that you can use while you search for better gear. For helmets, the first one you want to look for is the Lore rune word, and this helmet provides +1 to all skills as well as 30% lightning resistances, which is perfect for this build. You can farm the runes by completing Nightmare Countess. The other helmet can be any unique, that provides plus skills. For example, Tarn Helm, Peasant Crown, Worm Skull, etc. When it comes to weapons, the first one you want to look for is the Spirit Rune Word. This rune word provides +2 to all skills and 25 to 35% faster cast rate. It also increases your defense thanks to faster hit recovery and vitality. The additional mana is also great. Finding a 4-socketed weapon can be a little tricky, but stay on the lookout for crystal swords, long swords, and broadswords. If you happen to play the Secret Cow level, if you find any unsocketed of these types of weapons, you can get a guaranteed 4 sockets from Larzuk by completing the Siege of Harrogath quest. The other weapon you want to look for is the Oculus Unique. This weapon provides you with +3 to sorceress skills, 30% faster cast rate, resistances, and magic find. The only downside here is that there's a 25% chance to cast teleport when you're hit, which can lead into very dangerous situations. For shields, you want to look for the Ancient Pledge Rune Word. This shield doesn't provide plus skills, but compensates by granting a huge boost to resistances, allowing you to survive early hell. For armor, you want to use the Stealth Rune Word. This is by far the best armor that you can get early on. The 25% faster cast rate is nice, while the poison resistance and faster hit recovery provides more survivability. Other armor you can use are unique armor with plus skills are also great for this build, like for example the Spirit Shroud, Skin of the Viper Magi Talrash's Guardianship, and Quehagon's Wisdom. For gloves, you want to look for those that focus on defensive stats like life and resistances. For the belt, you want something with life and resistances. Talrash's Fine Spun Cloth can also work great if you find more pieces of the set. For boots, you want to search for faster run walk speed on your boots as well as resistances and life. You want to search for rings that have life, stats, and resistances as well as faster cast rate. Try to find an amulet that provides plus Sork skills or plus Sork cold skills. Other than that, you want to search for stats, health, and resistances. Talrash's Adjudication is a great option as well. For charms, you'll mainly want to look for plus life, plus mana, and plus cold skills or plus lightning skills. Talrash's Wrapping set is a great option to use early on if you manage to get a couple of pieces. Once you're reaching max level, you'll want to start searching for the following equipment to complete your character. For helmet, you want Harlequin Crest, which is a unique. This helmet provides +2 to all skills as well as life, mana, and attributes. You can insert a gem or rune of your liking by adding a socket to it. For weapon, you'll want the Heart of Oak Rune Word. This weapon provides +3 to all skills as well as plus all resistances and faster cast rate. You'll also be able to cast a level 4 Oak Sage that will greatly increase your minions' health. For shield, you want the Spirit Rune Word. This shield provides +2 to all skills and 25 to 35% faster cast rate. It also provides many defensive stats such as elemental resistances, faster hit recovery, and vitality. If you're having trouble finding a 4-slot shield, just find a Monarch shield and take it to Larzuk after completing the Siege of Harrogath quest. When it comes to armor, there's 2 you want to be on the lookout for, and the first is Chains of Honor Rune Word. This armor provides +2 to all skills and a massive +65 to all resistances. Additionally, it provides strength, damage reduction, and magic find. Secondly, you can use the Enigma Rune Word. This armor provides +2 to all skills as well as a lot of strength, life, and magic find. While Chains of Honor is a better option, you can use Enigma if you want to further increase your magic find. You'll also be able to save the point into teleport and use it elsewhere. For gloves, you want to use the Mage Fist Unique. These gloves provide you with faster cast rate. They also have a good amount of defense and increase your mana regeneration. For belts, you want to use Arachnid Mesh Unique. This belt provides +1 to all skills as well as providing faster cast rate and increasing your maximum mana. For boots, you'll want to use Sandstorm. These boots provide +20% faster hit recovery, strength, and vitality. The faster hit recovery will help you avoid getting stunlocked by most enemies. Another option for boots is the War Traveler Unique. These boots provide +25% faster run and walk speed, strength, and increases your magic find by a massive 30 to 50%. For rings, you have 2 different options, both that provide plus skills. More survivability, you're going to use 2 times Bull Cathos' Wedding Band to increase your life. For more mana, you're going to use 2 times Stone of Jordan to increase your mana. Mara's Kaleidoscope is the amulet you want to use, and it provides +2 to all skills as well as 20 to 30 to all resistances and +5 to all attributes. Or you can search for a crafted amulet with plus skills and faster cast rate, stats, life, or resistances. You'll want to get the Act 2 Holy Freeze Mercenary for this build from Nightmare. The Holy Freeze aura is great for dealing with large crowds of enemies. When it comes to equipment, you'll want to get an Infinity Rune Word for the weapon, a Fortitude Rune Word for the armor, and Andare's Visage for the helmet. The Infinity Rune Word reduces enemies' lightning resistances, allowing you to easily get rid of cold immune enemies. Final tips. Try to aim the Frozen Orb directly into your enemies. Ice bolts come out from the orb, so if they touch an enemy, it will get hit by all outgoing projectiles. Remember that Static Field can be used on regular monsters as well. If you're dealing with many cold immunes and haven't unlocked Chain Lightning yet, you can use Static Field to lower their health and let your mercenary finish the job. Even if you're restricted by a 1-second cooldown, having an increased faster cast rate will allow you to teleport much quicker through the map and to kite enemies more effectively, so it's worth getting. Stay tuned for more Diablo 2 build guides, and be sure to check out our Diablo 2 Resurrected wiki for more information about the game. And also make sure to bookmark that Runewords page. I'll have a link in the description, since you'll be needing it constantly. What did you think of our Frozen Orb Sorceress guide? What sorceress build are you playing? Let us know in the comments below.